Jungkook goes home, but not in the car with Jimin. Fans ask, where's the old closeness? They enlisted together. They served together. They finished together. So why didn't they go home together? It was the moment millions of fans had waited 548 days for, the official military discharge of BTS's youngest duo, Jimin and Jungkook, on June 11, 2025. A date that promised joy, reunion, and maybe even a spark of the old BTS magic fans had clung to since their hiatus began. And for a while, that promise held true. Smiles. Salutes. A shared farewell event for ARMY at Yonghyun. But as the morning faded into headlines, one strange detail broke through the euphoria and changed the mood almost instantly. Jimin and Jungkook didn't leave together, not even in the same car. Let that sink in. After nearly 2 years of training, serving, and growing side by side in the same military division, HYB reportedly arranged for Jimin and Jungkook to return home via separate routes. Not a shared car, not even a shared ride out of Yonghyun. And once again, just like the silence from Jungkook earlier in the day, fans were left stunned. It didn't feel like a reunion. It felt like avoidance, and the questions came fast. Was this a personal decision? A company strategy? Or was something deeper and more emotional driving the wedge? Because for anyone who's followed Jikook over the years, this didn't track. These weren't just co-workers in uniform. They were close friends, roommates, bonded by music, struggle, and mutual care. In fact, when they enlisted in December 2023, the news that they were placed in the same unit had sent waves of comfort through ARMY. It meant they'd have each other, that even inside the military system, they'd be watching over one another. And they did. Every update from insiders over the past year spoke of their camaraderie, eating meals together, laughing during field drills, reportedly even relying on each other during mental health workshops required in base training. There were fan-drawn images and viral tweets celebrating their bond in uniform. The fandom wasn't just projecting, it was observing SOY now. At the very end, when it was time to finally go home, did they part ways? No public explanation has been given. But HYB's calculated silence is telling. When media first asked whether the two would be appearing together post-discharge, the company only said they would attend a welcoming event, without confirming whether the two would leave the base side by side or even speak to fans jointly. Then came the photos. Jimin was seen leaving quietly through the south gate of the base, entering a sleek black vehicle escorted by minimal staff. Minutes later, Jungkook was spotted exiting through a separate location, with no sign of Jimin, and notably more security presence. Fans compared the footage obsessively. Different angles, different surroundings, different energy. And then the theories began. Was this a PR decision, designed to control media coverage and avoid crowding? Possibly. But why not make a joint statement clarifying it? Why allow confusion to spiral? Another theory gained traction fast. Emotional distance. It's not just about the ride home. It's about the pattern. First, Jungkook didn't mention Jimin in any discharge messages. Then, no joint appearance or photo was shared by either of them. Now, they've literally gone home in different cars. Fans who once celebrated their bond now feel something more bitter. Confusion. Doubt. And even betrayal. After everything, not even one photo together? A fan wrote in disbelief on X. Even if it was company logistics, Jungkook could have just waved to Jimin. A hug. Something. Anything. Another wrote, "This feels intentional. Someone wants them apart." The phrase, "Where's the old closeness?" started trending in fan forums, echoing the heartbreak of those who had believed in their unshakable friendship. Many are now combing through past videos and live streams, trying to find the moment where the closeness started to crack. Some point back to late 2023, where during promotions for Golden, Jungkook seemed more isolated from the group, while Jimin was dealing with scrutiny over dating rumors. Others cite their starkly different solo styles and personalities evolving over time, suggesting that natural distance formed between them and military life may have only made it clearer. But others believe the truth may lie not in natural change, but in unspoken conflict. There's no denying the pressure they were under. Serving under constant public attention, while grappling with personal controversies, from stolen stocks to media harassment, would shake anyone. And while ARMY hoped these hardships would forge stronger bonds, it's now starting to look like they may have quietly driven a wedge, because for Jimin to mention Jungkook publicly but then not ride home with him, that stings. And for Jungkook, who's known for his emotional transparency, to not even say Jimin's name during his return, that hurts even more. The truth is, we don't know what happened behind those barracks, but we do know how it feels now. Cold. If this was a normal duo, no one would care. But this is Jikook, the ones who laughed late into the night on V Live, who wrote lyrics for each other, who stood close during encores, shared towels, shared tears. And now, they can't even share a ride. There are still moments ahead. Festa is approaching, and with it, a rare chance to see all 7 BTS members reunited. But fans are no longer certain what that reunion will look like. Will Jimin and Jungkook stand shoulder to shoulder again? Or will the invisible line between them remain? Because it's not just a car ride. It's a symbol, a small but powerful reminder that even the deepest bonds can be shaken, and sometimes heartbreak doesn't come from a scandal. It comes from silence, from separation, from watching 2 people you believed in simply go home apart. The question now is, can this bond be mended in front of the world? Or was the Real goodbye already given quietly, without a word, in separate cars, driving in separate directions? ARMY doesn't want drama. They want answers. And right now, all they have are questions. But what if this isn't the end? What if this is the beginning of a slow unraveling? Fans are beginning to fear exactly that, because as more moments are pieced together, the discomfort grows louder. The separate cars were not just a logistical blip, they were a sign, a turning point, or perhaps a revelation of what has been quietly simmering beneath the surface for months. Some began revisiting older military updates, recalling how earlier in their service, Jimin and Jungkook were often mentioned in the same breath. They're inseparable. One training officer was quoted in a leaked military blog post last year, always watching out for each other. Yet by early 2025, those mentions grew sparse. Some fans even noted that during leave periods, Jimin and Jungkook were seen in different locations. Jimin spotted in Jeju with staff, while Jungkook appeared to be in Busan with family. Of course, soldiers have every right to spend their free time as they choose. But it painted a pattern, a slow drift, a soft silence growing between them. And now, that silence is screaming. HYB's media team has remained completely unresponsive to inquiries about the discharge day logistics. Journalists reaching out for comment received the standard. No further details are being shared at this time. The same company that once meticulously crafted every BTS group moment now appears to be holding back, either to shield the members' privacy or to avoid exposing a fracture that fans aren't ready to face. But the damage may already be done. A recent poll posted by a popular BTS fan community showed that over 67% of respondents felt concerned or heartbroken about Jimin and Jungkook's visible distance. Nearly 40% said their excitement about Festa has been dampened. And among the trending hashtags on Korean SNS platforms, hashtag where's Jikook, hashtag Jungkook silent, hashtag separate but not okay. The irony is painful. This was supposed to be their comeback. Not on stage, not yet, but back into the light, back to ARMY, back to each other. Instead, we have separate exits, separate messages, separate energy. The timing of it all couldn't be more emotionally charged. As fans prepare for Festa 2025, which should be a celebration of BTS's full reunion for the first time in years, the fear that this milestone will feel incomplete is growing. Because if Jimin and Jungkook can't even go home together, can we really believe they'll stand on the same stage without tension? There are no official rehearsal photos, no candid group chats leaked on Weverse, no signs of the natural banter that once lit up every group appearance. And still, the silence holds. It's a heavy silence, and fans feel it. Some armies, especially longtime Jikook supporters, are calling for compassion and patience. They remind the fandom that not every bond stays in the spotlight, and that emotional closeness can evolve privately. That maybe, just maybe, this separation is temporary, but others feel betrayed because BTS didn't just sell music. They sold trust, honesty, brotherhood, and this feels like a betrayal of that narrative. Or worse, an unraveling of it? What if it was never as perfect as it looked? What if we believed in something they outgrew? Or is the real heartbreak in realizing that they didn't outgrow it, that something external, unseen, forced the change, behind closed doors? Did something happen between Jimin and Jungkook that will never be told? A disagreement? A rift? Was it artistic tension? Personal choices? Or something deeper, something that fame and service couldn't shield them from? We don't know. And maybe we won't. But we feel it, because in BTS, moments always mattered. A glance, a laugh, a hug. And now the absence of those moments feels louder than ever. And for Jungkook, known for his fierce loyalty and intense emotional sensitivity, to say nothing, to do nothing, to leave separately without even a nod to his once closest taehyung says everything. Jimin, ever the diplomat, did mention Jungkook in his post-discharge statement. That gesture spoke volumes. It told us he still carries the bond, or at least respects its legacy. But a bond requires two hearts, and one of them is silent. Maybe that silence is protection. Maybe it's pain. Or maybe, worst of all, it's indifference. That ARMY deserves better than indifference. They deserve the truth. Or, at the very least, the hope that what once was can be rebuilt. Because if Jimin and Jungkook, two hearts who trained together, cried together, bled together, can walk out of the same base and not share a single second, then what hope is there for any of the emotional truths BTS promised us? The world is watching. Will HYB release a statement? Will Festa give fans a sign of healing? Will Jimin and Jungkook find their way back? To each other, to the group, to the faith that ARMY so freely gave? We don't need a concert. We don't need a live stream. We just need one thing. Proof that the love we believed in wasn't one-sided. Until then, the road home will remain divided, not by distance, but by doubt, and the silence. It will echo louder than any song ever could.